Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
A WWE star returns to NXT. Thanks for clicking the video. It was Tyler Breeze. I am Luco and this is El Fakador Laurie Blake. And welcome to the post-NXT WrestleRamble review where, yes... Oh no, it's sponsored by Beer52.com. Go to beer52.com/WrestleTalk and get your free case of craft beer.
Delicious. UK
viewers only. We'll be tasting some a little bit later on. Now we can get into the actual show. The sponsorship bit is done for now. So, last night on NXT, Ricochet, he last week had said he was issuing an open challenge to anyone to challenge him for the North American Championship. And would you, Adam and Bloody, believe it?
It's only Tyler Breeze.
It's only Prince Pretty himself coming out, and this is not Breezango Tyler Breeze either. This was not Raw or SmackDown Tyler Breeze. This was proper NXT Prince Pretty Tyler Breeze with the entrance and everything, with the original music, the whole presentation, and it was bloody tremendous.
It was good fun.
Bloody tremendous seeing him back, greeted to an absolute hero's welcome.
Yeah. Welcome back chance as well.
Absolutely. Well, I think that the people who were there to to watch this, obviously this had got leaked out because it's a taped show, but like the people who were there in the building most likely had no idea. Like in a million years wouldn't have thought this was going to be Tyler Breeze.
No, absolutely not. I would have assumed it was Adam Cole or someone of that ilk, or EC3 already had a match on the show, but someone like that, or maybe Dijakovic, maybe that would have been his debut.
Yeah,
we found out later, obviously, that was not to be.
Or a Keith Lee, or like someone from the
exactly,
NXT UK brand. But no, it was Tyler Breeze, and I thought that was actually a really nice surprise. And Triple H has said in interviews recently that he thinks it's a good idea for WWE main roster guys and girls to go back down to NXT, not because they need to be like retrained or relearn things or anything like that, just because it's an opportunity for them to showcase what they can do.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Stretch out your wrestling muscles.
Well, I think, there's multiple reasons why it's a good thing, right? You've got someone who has already graduated NXT going down. There's things, surely, that they can teach the next crop of talent, not just about wrestling, but also about like the actual WWE system once you move up into the main roster. It's it's time to start telling people when you get there, it's going to be like this, you're going to do this is going to be your life. Also, probably don't expect to be the champion.
Yeah.
It's probably not worth it. But then when they go down also, they get to, Tyler Breeze here did more than Tyler Breeze has done.
Oh, in years.
For months.
Absolutely.
The most interesting thing I can remember thinking about Tyler Breeze on the main roster is the Master of Disguise thing.
Yes, when he was doing with Breezango, and they were doing
fairly funny.
Yeah, they were doing their fashion files skit.
Yeah, and all that stuff was great, but that wasn't the stuff that he's actually very good at.
No, which is the wrestling. Yeah, exactly.
And it turns out he can prove it again. But it's also a lovely time. It must also be very nice for them to sort of, there aren't many places in WWE where you get to go back and have a hero's welcome within your own company. Obviously, like you get the hometown welcome when you go somewhere even remotely near where you're from.
Yep.
I'm in the UK. That's close enough.
That's close enough.
But yeah, like it must be nice for him to go back and be like, well, I've had to do this thing for ages, and we've been, Breezango have been nowhere near anything important for a very long time.
Nope.
And Fandango's obviously been injured, so they've been off telly. It's a lovely opportunity to use someone who has been devastatingly underused on the main roster.
And like Tyler Breeze was always like the classic example. I've used this in several videos before, but it was when Triple H did an interview specifically referring to Tyler Breeze, saying that we wouldn't bring anyone up to the main roster unless we had 6 months of storylines already mapped out for them, which is clearly a load of balderdash. That's absolutely not true whatsoever. 2018 is
6 months worth. 6 months worth of WWE storylines is just you're facing Baron Corbin every week.
Yeah.
Off you trot, Finn.
Off you trot. Now get in tag team. and like Tyler came up, good bit of fanfare, got into a feud with Dolph Ziggler, and I think like instantly from the outset they kind of like they didn't really know what to do with Tyler Breeze because they paired him with Summer Rae. Like they looked at Tyler Breeze and was like, you're not okay on your own. What you need is someone to come out with you. Summer Rae, Summer Breeze. Oh, look, it writes itself.
Doesn't make me feel fine.
Absolutely not. And I really think that hurts him a lot up on the main roster. And then, he was like in sort of the IC title picture, but then that was like it. And then he just fell off the face of the earth and just became a jobber. Started this tag team with Fandango, Breezango, which had like a really good run last year. during that Fashion Files.
Yes, yeah.
When the Fashion Files were on TV each and every week and people were really enjoying it.
That was one of the things, they lucked out into that,
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
they? They were given one thing 1 week and they nailed it. And then
Yes.
WWE was like, that's brilliant, more of that. Fortunately, we also have to have wrestling matches, which we don't want you to do.
To be honest, like that's not the worst thing. Like
Absolutely
if
not,
you're
no.
given an opportunity and you grab the ball and you run with it, that's a good thing. And they got into a really fun feud with the Usos because it was a real there was a real difference there. You had the real super serious when they were heels, like super serious, weird, like street gangster.
Day
the
one
Usos.
is.
Yeah, day one is stuff. Day one is H.
Day one is H.
And you got the comedy side of Breezango, and they had some really fun matches together. But then after that, it was like, yeah, we're bored of this now. Just do Fashion Files. And then, yeah, we're bored of that as well. We'll just put those on WWE.com. Fandango's injured.
Well, they took them to Raw, didn't they? They
Yes.
were like, we want Fashion Files. Take that. Do it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're bored of this now. So it's a real shame, but I've always been a big fan of Tyler Breeze, and I've always been a bit of an advocate for him up on the main roster, being like, he is someone you can easily utilize into that. He's not a main eventer. Like, he was done in NXT because everyone's about the same height. But up on the main roster, when you've got Brawny the Strowman and you've got ginormous people like that, Baron Corbin, who's like 12 foot or wherever he is, you have to sort of slot them into this mid-card scene or this upper mid-card scene, and there's nothing wrong with being in that level.
No, absolutely not.
And I think Tyler is perfectly suited for that level.
He's got a fun, he's got a good look. He's got a fun, I like the Prince Pretty gimmick.
I love it,
It all works. It's like, it's something different, and that's one thing we need. We don't need another, we don't need Lars Sullivan on the main roster to do exactly what Braun Strowman has been doing.
No, Lars is doing very different things. Lars is lurking.
Yes.
Braun Strowman is like dominating and being a monster. Lars is lurking. He's basically Snitsky 2.0. Snitsky and Heidenreich. Lovely stuff.
Great. I'm excited.
Yeah, he's going to intimidate Michael Cole into reading poetry or whatever that scene was. But anyway, so Tyler Breeze returned down to NXT for this one-off appearance to answer the Ricochet's Open Challenge. And they had a very, very fun TV match. So bloody nice to see Tyler Breeze wrestle again. Wrestling, not a long match.
No.
But it was a good amount of time. And they got a lot of good stuff in there.
But this is that sort of thing you can do with Ricochet as well. So you can just put him in matches with people where he gets to do fun stuff and they get to do fun stuff.
Yeah.
And that person can be from NXT, from NXT UK. They could have come down from the main roster. We could bring Cesaro back for a week or whatever. Or, and God forbid if he ever makes it back to the company, Neville. But that's sort of like something that some people of that ilk, like who've all gone on to do, have troubles on the main roster. Maybe Cesaro was a bad example. Maybe a year ago Cesaro would have been a better example. But there are plenty of people who've gone up. Ty Dillinger would be a perfect example of someone who could come back down to NXT, do a little match, get a little bit of hype because people actually care about him there.
Oh, absolutely. Like once he's come back from his hand injury, rather than just, dump him back on SmackDown to lose to Randy Orton, let's say. Just have him go down to NXT for a couple of weeks, do a couple of matches down there, and you're right, just shake off the ring rust, get in front of a crowd that really, really got behind you, and just sort of reignite that passion again. So then you can go back to SmackDown and lose to Randy Orton.
But that's the cool thing about NXT. The cool thing is that it takes place in the same place every single time it's filmed.
Yep.
So when people do come back, it's the same dudes in the audience. It's the same, it's the same guys and girls watching it all the time anyway. So they're genuinely oh my God, I used to see you all the time.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Impact Zone back in the 2006, 2007 era of TNA. Actually, even upwards to later on than that. But really in these sort of embryonic days of TNA when they're in the Impact Zone from 05 onwards. That was it was the same group of people who were always going to those shows. So you could feel the crowd getting into certain people. Like Lance Hoyt, all of a sudden, 1 week was massively over because Hoytomania was running wild with 6 people in the front row. But because they all had Hoytomania t-shirts and had signs for Hoytomania and they were going Hoyt, 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 all of a sudden
it felt like this really big thing.
He feels like a big deal now, and he got a push off the back of that.
Yeah.
It's one of the great things about the NXT crowd. So well done, all of you that go there. Hi, Karen.
You just got to hope that Vince sees this tape.
He won't because he's never watched an episode of NXT. Never watched an episode of NXT in his life.
I don't like the colours.
Or NXT UK, which is hardly surprising. Hardly surprising.
I don't get the network at home.
His internet's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's on dial-up.
It's not fast enough.
So this was a really, really fun match. Lots of back and forth action with Ricochet doing his 619s and his forearm flying stuff. Lots of exchanges towards the end, some really good like blocking kicks and stuff like that. Doing a double crossbody for a double down, supermodel kick and a reverse Rana.
That was wicked, that bit.
Yeah,
that was
really,
the bit
really
where they
good.
flipped out of all the suplexes. They tried to suplex each other. They kept dropping out.
Yeah.
Back suplex. Ricochet flips out. Back suplex. Breeze flips out. Ricochet
Yeah.
does a flip off the ropes. Breeze turns around, kicks him in the face.
Yes. Yeah, like supermodel kicks and like going for the beauty shot, and Ricochet catches him and hits the Michinoku driver for the win. But I thought this was really lovely, particularly when they were like, so Ricochet makes his big old entrance with like the lights and whatnot. Then he gets into the ring, and the announcer, I don't know what her name is, but she clearly knew that it was Tyler. Obviously, she knows it's Tyler because she has to make the announcements.
Certainly.
But she had the biggest smile on her face because she knew what was coming.
Yeah.
So she was like, "Oh, this crowd's going to really enjoy this."
This is going to be really... Even Ricochet himself, when Tyler came out, was beaming. He was like, oh, this is so nice.
This is lovely. Hey. So yeah, very, very happy to see Tyler in this one-off appearance. I'd quite happily see him there more.
Do more of this stuff. I just think... I like open challenges as an idea.
Yes.
It's a good way to have the belts feature. You know, not every belt needs to be 6 months worth of build up to it actually being changed or whatever. Like it can feel like it could change, not every week, but like that's the point, isn't it? Like
totally.
it should feel like anything could happen. That's kind of the magic of wrestling.
And you're a fighting champion. You want to defend that
absolutely.
belt and things like that. It's the same thing when Cena used to do the US Open challenge.
Yes.
It was the best thing on WWE week in and week out because it was just John Cena essentially going like, I want to showcase some of the lads backstage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me 20 minutes of TV time and I'm going to cut a promo for 5 minutes and then we're going to have a 15-minute match. Everyone looks great in the end. And that was when you had like those NXT call-ups and surprises like Sami Zayn, who injured himself in the process, and Kevin Owens made his main roster debut through that open challenge. It was there just to facilitate that debut.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is great stuff. And that's why I think it was such a crushing disappointment when Seth Rollins announced he was going to do an IC Open challenge.
Dolph.
And it was Dolph Ziggler, and everyone was like, oh, well, wonderful. I've seen this match 1,000 times this year already.
Someone could have got to the curtain quicker.
Oh, good.
Just like,
he was
be into Gorilla! Come on, this week.
Problem is he was standing there actually with a record ready to scratch it so that he could ruin everything. So, a fun main event which capped off a very fun episode of NXT. So why don't we just bloody talk about it? Of course, this show is sponsored by Beer 52. Head over to beer52.com/WrestleTalk to claim your free case of craft beer. UK viewers only. Very, very sorry if you're not one of those, but if you are one of those, holy heckins, you should get on board with this. If you listen to the podcast version of this show, you'll know that I genuinely am a Beer 52 subscriber, and I have been for a number of years now. I think I'm nearing into like my 3rd or 4th year as being a subscriber of Beer 52. And I bloody love it. I initially got it as a Christmas present for my wife, and then
Stole it.
basically
Drank most of it myself.
Basically, yeah, like because I bought.
Hi, dear, I got you an Xbox.
Because I got her I think I got her a 6-month subscription, and then that was coming to an end. And then my girlfriend unfortunately discovered she was gluten intolerant, so she couldn't drink the beers anymore. So we were like, we'll have to cancel Beer 52. So I went to go and cancel it, and then I thought, actually, I quite like getting the boxes every month, though. I'm just going to keep it now. I'm just going to keep doing it.
And drink it in front of her.
Oh, yeah. So I've given this company a lot of money.
Celiac. Delicious.
It's very nice when we get gluten-free beers that she can have. Fun fact, do you know Corona is gluten-free?
No.
I did not know that, but fun fact.
Big
anyway,
news.
Today we are drinking more Sticks and Bones. Why don't you tell me about it?
I will read you the tasting notes. The style of this beer is a dark smoked beer. The tasting notes say, when Moore sat down to think about what sort of beer they wanted to brew with their friends at Lost and Grounded, one style really jumped out. Smoked. Both breweries love the German tradition of smoked beers and wanted to brew something a bit dark to introduce as many people as possible to the most wonderful world of smoked beers.
Oh, very nice.
That is, smoked beers.
4.7%. Nice smoked dark ale. I think we've actually had this one on the show before, only because I recognise that very smoky flavour, which you will see because smoke is the word. If Mortal Kombat character Smoke might even say, crikey, that's smoky.
Oh, it's like licking a barbecue. It's not as delicious.
A tasty barbecue.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you go over to beer52.com/WrestleTalk and claim your free case of craft beer today. Perfect for Christmas. So it kicked off on NXT announcing that EC3 is going to face Bubbles Fish and about that Ricochet Open Challenge. And then we got that opening contest of Bubbles Fish versus the top 1%er of EC3. Adam Cole cut a promo before the match. Kyle O'Reilly, the unsung hero of 2018. He's just the best.
Kyle O'Reilly is the definition of background action. Like it's action and background action. Yep, he's always doing something. He's so good.
This is how good Kyle O'Reilly is. We've got a segment here that's got Bobby Fish in a match and Adam Cole cutting a promo, and EC3 is also in a match. And all we want to talk about is Kyle O'Reilly just being. Oh, he's just great.
He's just got his. He's just in his own world. He's just doing his own stuff the whole time. He's
and it was.
Brilliant.
I genuinely. I love this sometimes when, as a wrestling fan, when I feel like I'm really marking out for something, and watching the Undisputed Era, all four of them do their big entrance and get in the ring, and all four of them are posing. You've got Roderick Strong doing like his sort of pose thing. Yeah. You've got Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish doing their we're in a fighting game on the character select screen poses, and Adam Cole doing the Bay thing. And I was like, I love it. This act is tremendous.
It's so brilliant.
It's so good. We met someone at the Fight Forever show on Friday who was wearing a Undisputed Era t-shirt with the full one with the S on it as well. And I was like, mate, that is a cool t-shirt. And he said, I can do you one better than that. And he rolled up his sleeve on his cardigan that he was wearing, and he had it tattooed on his wrist.
Whoa.
That is how much into the Undisputed Era this chap was.
So much into it you should be, maybe.
Well, I completely agree.
I haven't got any space, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so into Friday the 13th, I got that tattooed on my arm. It's just, this is what you do. And also, another person we met that evening, we've got to give a shout out to, and I'm kicking myself because it's either Jack or Jake. I think it's Jake. I'm almost certain it is, but it could also be Jack. It's definitely...
Choose the right one.
Yeah, choose the right one.
Jake or Jack.
Thank you.
When you hear.
Thank you very much for approaching us. You weren't as drunk as your mate claimed you were. I actually thought you were fine. And you were an absolute pleasure to chat to, because he says that he told me that he doesn't watch any of the other WrestleRambles. He only watches the NXT one, which is why I've been saving that shout out for this episode. But what I would say, mate, is just download the podcast. Just save your data. Like don't stream this on your phone on your commute, mate. It eats up so much data. Download it, mate. So much good.
Or rip it off YouTube. Not that I'm condoning any of that. Actually.
Well, I mean, I suppose we still get a click from it. So yeah, I mean, either way is fine.
Leave it running on YouTube at home, but down. Yeah, there's many. You got options.
Got options. So anyway, back to this match. This was I thought it was a pretty little decent match between EC3 and Fish. What did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I thought it sort of did what it said on the tin, and it always kind of went the way I assumed it would be going. It wasn't. I didn't think it was a particular showcase for either guy, but it was fun and it had a good little ending. And
it really continues this story because EC3 won again with the same mechanic as well. Like excuse me, that beer's come back to me.
Too smoky.
It's too smoky. The same, could be smokier. The same mechanic happened again of EC3, O'Reilly and Strong get up onto the ring apron, knock them both down, and then you get a surprise roll-up win, and then Undisputed Era like, no, you beat us. And you got to wonder, like, where's this possibly leading to?
Yes.
Because he's now got 2 victories over 2 members of the Undisputed Era. He beat Adam Cole before War Games, and now he's beat Bubbles Fish here.
Yeah, and then he was saved from the beatdown by Heavy Machinery. So
yes.
I don't know. It just feels like to me. I feel like we're going through the setup a little bit.
We're saying War Games again.
But I'm a bit confused. However, I think potentially some sort of North American triple thready kind of
maybe you're getting
on the cards.
Yeah, because they were sort of setting up at the end of War Games that it's like Ricochet, Pete Dunne, and Adam Cole. Like that is a story that is not unfinished yet. So maybe we've got a triangle, and you're right. Maybe we're going to split this out into a square, and
EC3
and EC3 is going to get involved in that
potentially
as well.
His last match in NXT, I guess, if the rumors about him moving on to the main roster are true.
Absolutely, exactly. But yeah, I thought it was a fine little match. I just really like Bobby Fish.
Yeah,
he is so good. He's got an amazing look. So all I could focus on in this match is that he just looks really, really cool. Like I've always thought EC3 looks like pretty generic. Like if you went onto a character create screen, like he would be the default setting. But then like if
he looks like one of the clay fighters.
Yeah.
Excellent
callback.
Yeah. Bobby Fish is he's got that something about him. Like he's so talkative as well. Is what I like about him. He's like constantly jibing people. Like the bit at the beginning where he like rolls straight out of the ring, like go DC3 into it, and then he goes and fist bumps all the rest of the Undisputed Era and gets back in.
Got this, guys.
Yeah, gets back in, gets beat up for a bit. They get on the apron. He starts chop blocking. He starts going like again. He's going after people's knees again.
He is,
like he's got a real like. I love the fact he's sort of worked that viciousness in there, and it's kind of gone unsaid that he's not like no one said outright Bobby Fish. He's after your knees.
No,
because he's quite cross about his one.
Exactly.
But like, I like the fact that that's kind of what he's been low-key doing the whole time.
Subtle storytelling. And then afterwards, EC3 gets the win. The Undisputed Era all get in and start like beating him down and everything. And then, here comes Heavy Machinery coming down to make the save. Yeah, absolutely.
No T-shirts, though.
No, this wasn't workout or match ready. This was, we just want some steaks now.
I think they've been eating steak, yeah.
Oh, probably. Ducky.
They're they're on their way out. That's why they had the jeans on. Jeans and then smart shoes, and they're about to go.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like this is my going out gear. Absolutely. No T-shirt or anything. Ducky.
Come on, Ducky.
And I love this as well because everyone sort of bails to the outside, but Kyle O'Reilly's the last one. And he's sort of crawling. And he's like, I'm about to get to safety. And then Heavy Machinery grab him. And the look on his face was like, oh no.
Yeah, and he goes up the ropes.
Grabs the ropes. And you've got Nigel on commentary going, somebody save him.
That was a lot of fun. And then EC3 hits the 1%er, is it called?
Yes.
The 1%er. But then starts going,
yeah, moose.
But yeah, and then it's the caterpillar for the big elbow drop.
Yes.
Ducky.
If Otis does eventually, I said it last week, if he is not WWE champion, this company has enough clue.
They don't know what they're doing.
Absolutely not. Backstage, we see Dakota Kai and Io Shirai being interviewed by the press.
In the Swiss village. In the Swiss town square.
Absolutely. Dakota Kai is wearing a T-shirt that says Kingslayer on it after following on from their League of Legends win. I don't really know what a League of Legends is, but
it's a MOBA.
Okay.
He was an artist in the 90s, I believe.
Okay. Anyway, so there's born from that, but she killed Seth Rollins a lot, I guess. But she's wearing this Kingslayer T-shirt, but it's in the Slayer font, so which means I'm more in love with Dakota Kai this week than I was last week. She's just the best. I've
got no follow-on
from
that.
Anyway,
that's a cul-de-sac of your own emotions.
I just love her, basically. And but the press want to ask about Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke, clearly not noticing how awesome her T-shirt is, because if I was a member of that press, I'd be like, can you tell me more about this T-shirt?
Talk about what you're wearing.
Talk more about this Slayer T-shirt. What's your favourite Slayer album?
Okay.
And then they challenged Duke and Shafir to a match next week, which it's later announced that is going to happen. We're going to get the in-ring debut of Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir of the Horsewomen fame.
Against Dakota Kai and Io Shirai.
I'm really, really looking forward to this because based on like house show reports from NXT, where Shafir and Duke have had like many matches at this point, and they've had quite a lot of in-ring work, that the reports are that of the four of them, Jessamine Duke's going to be the standout. And she is like...
the prodigy.
The prodigy. She's like, from all early reports, she's the best of all four of them.
Wow.
And you consider that how good Shayna Baszler is this and how good Ronda Rousey has been this year. She has had... we talked about this in the office, but she's yet to have a bad match.
No.
I mean, granted, they're rehearsed within an inch of their life, but I don't think that's the worst thing in the world.
No.
But matches are rehearsed, but she's so good at doing them. Like, she has had a 100% success rate on the main roster. And then Jessamine Duke is apparently the best one.
Yeah.
What is she, Kurt Angle? Like, is she
she's gonna do something crazy.
Yeah, she's just gonna be absolutely incredible. And speaking of incredible, holy heckins, did I enjoy this! Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan versus the Mighty.
Wicked.
Following on from a couple of weeks ago where they had that house show match and the Mighty beat them down afterwards. This match went about 5 minutes, and I think they did about 20 minutes worth of stuff in there. And that 20 minutes was Oney Lorcan throwing uppercuts.
Within a minute, he'd done a tope. The first thing he did was just go, I'm just going to launch myself outside.
Yeah, they were basically like, we've got 5 minutes, lads, so we need to, as soon as the bell rings, let's start. And it didn't. It was just this wild brawl early on, and I bloody love Lonely Orkin. I think he's awesome.
Lonely Orkin.
Yeah,
I love the Lonely Orca.
Lonely Orca.
It's a children's book.
He's so good. His uppercuts are amazing.
I love that sequence. I think it was with Miller, not Thorne. It was they were doing trading uppercuts, but they were catching each other as they were running to the ropes to get speed up, and they kept doing it, and then Miller jumps up to do a hurricanrana.
Yeah.
And he just power bombs him, and then just immediately flips him over into a single leg crab, and then gets caught by the other guy.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. Like, I was thinking while I was watching this, I would love to see a Oney Lorcan Cesaro match.
Oh, I wouldn't be able to tell which one was which.
Yeah, well, granted, yeah. And then all of a sudden, so I'm like, here, all my notes are just like, God damn it, Oney Lorcan's amazing. He's so good. Oney Lorcan, bloody love him. He's really, really great. And then all of a sudden,
spelling it wrong in all your notes.
And then all of a sudden, Danny Burch tags in, and I'm like, oh God, Burch is awesome. Danny Burch is awesome. I'd love to see him in a match with Cesaro. He's just brilliant.
Give all of these men a match with Cesaro.
Oh man, I had so much fun with this match. And we're talking all about Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch here, but the Mighty were really great in this as well. They hit their superplex powerbomb combination thing that they do, which is really awesome. And at this moment when like Miller hits a power slam, and then Thorne uses Miller getting the pin as a springboard to do a cannonball onto Burch in the corner. It was a really cool set. Like, they hit the Thunder Valley, which was reversed into a double DDT, and then Lorcan has my spot of the match, which is just, I'm just going to start slapping you lot. Slap. The Mighty are just like, oh, no, I haven't enough of this. They start to slap him back. He ducks, and Thorne, I'm gonna might get this wrong here, but Miller slaps Thorne, assisted DDT, and the Oney and Burch win. Oh man, it ruled.
It was really good.
Loved it.
I just feel sorry for the Mighty, and they keep having good matches, but they just go nowhere. Like they should have just been elevated into the picture for the tag titles at some point, like just in that sort of throwaway, at least in just the throwaway way that Burch and Lorcan were, like down the line. Like, you know, the only reason they're getting this push now as like a really amazing tag team is because they had that one match, and that was built off the back of not really very much in terms of NXT storytelling, considering like how long they spent on Johnny Gargano, like how long we've spent on him just to get here. They had like 3 weeks of being like, well, we don't like each other, and then they were like, now we're a tag team, and then they were like, title shot. That was it. It was
what it said on the boards.
It was just
in the
filler
office
for stuff. So, you know,
I loved this. I mean, we've had a pretty good week of main events on TV, because you had like the TLC match on Monday, you had the Asuka Charlotte Flair match on SmackDown. But this might be my favourite WWE match of the week. I had so much fun. I bloody loved it. I absolutely loved it. More of that.
A 5-minute firecracker.
Oh, God, it was awesome. They did a recap of the Ciampa and Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano angle from last week, the main events of last week's show, announcing that the steel cage match that was set up in that angle will take place next week.
Boom.
So, from what I can gather, because a few people sent this across to me, they're probably not going to show all of the assembly of the cage, because it took them a heck of a lot of time to assemble it.
Did it?
Yeah. Well, usually when you do it in Raw and SmackDown...
you've lost the instructions.
Yeah, because you just lower it down from the ceiling.
You've got to actually put it up,
Exactly. Yeah, you haven't got that option full set. You've got to go down there with all the bits and pieces.
I'd suggest opening with that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And then just editing it to be the end of the show.
Could be. Yeah, like you do that match, and then later on you film an angle where it's like, we're going to set up a steel cage match. Wink to the audience. Play along, lads.
Nudge.
When I was at the Rev Pro tapings, Colt Cabana won his match, and then his microphone wouldn't work because he was meant to do an in-ring promo afterwards. And his mic wouldn't work, and he was like, Bob, this doesn't work. So then the ring announcer gave him his microphone. Bob, that didn't work either. And so they were just sort of like, Finally, they managed to get another microphone out there, and Colt Cabana just goes, all right, guys, magic of editing. Let's all pretend I just won the match again. And he whips the crowd, and the crowd reacted so louder the second time because we were all pretending. Everyone was like, "Way!" Colt was like, "Oh God, guys, thank you so much, thank you so much."
Goodness,
it was so good.
The one thing he's forgotten there is that you can underlay sound in an edit as well, so they didn't have to do anything.
Sweeten that crowd, sweeten them.
Get that gnat.
And anyway, Johnny Gargano then cuts a cell phone promo similar to the one that he did a few weeks back, in the lead up to Takeover War Games, and he says that Aleister Black cannot absolve him of his sins because he never sinned in the first place. Lovely line.
He did nothing wrong. It was all for the greater good.
The greater good. And he said that Black tried to stop him from ridding the world of Ciampa, and he says, now, Aleister Black's just in my way. So I'm going to have to beat him up in a steel cage. And he's next to this guardrail, and so he kneels down next to the guardrail, so then it looks like he's in a cage.
Amazing.
Oh,
mise en scène.
This was bloody lovely. This was very nice. Very much enjoyed it. We've got another video package for Dijakovic. He's going to be debuting next week. Or re-debuting, I suppose, because he's already been on TV. And then we've got a segment with Shafir, Duke, and Baszler with Kathy Kelly.
The Angel.
The Angel. And Baszler says that it doesn't matter who wins the four-way, that it's going to be the number one contendership four-way, because they're just going to get beaten anyway. So what's the point? Good point. And then Shafir and Duke laughed off the challenge that Io and Kai made. They want a match.
Heel, heel, heel.
Heel,
heel, heel. Heel, 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 laugh. He'll laugh, like the Muppets.
Heel. We're going to walk away. We're just going to walk away now.
Maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh. We went to go see them up at Christmas Carol the other day. I mean, you didn't go because bar humbug. Christmas. But I had a bloody lovely time. And Regal then announced that due to the win that she got on a live event, Lacey Evans has also qualified for the four-way for the number one contendership to the Women's Championship. So we currently got Bianca Belair, who won a match on a house show, and Lacey Evans, who also won a match on a house show. And then we had a match between Mia Yim and Reina Gonzalez, she of the first round of the Mae Young Classic 2 fame, for the another one of those spots. And
wonder how that's going to go.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, so I didn't think this was much of a match. And I really feel like I'm going to get labelled as someone who doesn't like Mia Yim. Because ever since she's come into NXT, all I've done is say, didn't like that segment.
She's not faced off against anyone worth writing home about.
And she's really good.
But that's
she's
the thing.
Great.
But squashing people doesn't really. Squashing people doesn't actually show that you're good.
Yeah.
Squashing people just shows that you've got three moves that might look. And unless your move is Ricochet's 630, that doesn't really show much anyway. Like, there's cool moves, and then there's I do three things and then you fall down and I win.
Yeah, I don't want to come across like I'm being negative on Mia Yim because I really do like Mia Yim. It's just I don't think she's had a great run in NXT thus far. But then again, she's not been given the opportunity to have a great run. No. I think it was on a Patreon podcast. I did say that her first round match in the Mae Young Classic against Sienna was god awful because it was bloody terrible.
I just thought this was like I felt also that Reina Gonzalez feels like a bit of a joke. Like she comes out with a cowbell on a rope, assless chaps.
Yeah, she does come out.
But they're not assless chaps.
No,
they're jeans that she's cut the middle out of.
Yeah, she comes out basically looking like Stan Hansen. And I think that's what she's going for. She's like Stan Hansen or Blackjack Mulligan or something along these lines. And she's got a cow. Mauro Ranallo says I've always said that NXT needs more cowbell, and thank God here we are because she swings that cowbell around. She's got fire. She's massively into this. She's a big old Texan. She's about 12 foot tall. She towers over everyone, but I've seen her in 2 matches thus far, and I've not been impressed with either.
No. And I thought this was, and some of this was sloppy from Mia Yim as well, I would say.
And it's an edited show.
Yeah. It was a bit just... This should have been a literal squash match.
Yeah.
And should have been less back and forth than it was for a bit.
And then,
even though when you went, 5 minutes was it?
And it's also, of the 3 people that have qualified for this number 1 contendership match, this is the only one we've seen on TV. Because Bianca Belair was on a live show that we didn't see, and Lacey Evans was on a live show that we didn't see either. But this one, they thought, got to televise this one. Got to televise that one.
Still telling the Mia Yim story. That's
absolutely.
Why.
Eat defeat, Mia Yim won. So she's in
with a really long, but at the end of a really long and slow flurry of blows.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah, don't want to sound too down on it. Aleister Black then cut a smoky promo, a bit like that beer, and people are asking him how he feels about this cage match, and then he just sort of turns to the camera and is like, I don't feel anything. I just don't feel anything. I've got something I need to do. And Johnny Gargano is far from redemption. He will fade to black. Good promo from Aleister Black.
His only option is annihilation, was one of the things that Aleister Black said.
Mortal Kombat annihilation.
Intense.
Absolutely. It was intense. Good promo to end off our review. So I suppose let's end on a high. Decent episode of NXT, though. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Yeah.
And it felt like it moved things slowly. Like, I'm obviously, as soon as you mention that there's going to be a steel cage match between Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano next week, I'm kind of like, Yeah, that's next week, yeah.
Yeah, not only that, we also got the in-ring debut of Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke on NXT TV, and Dijakovic re-debuting in NXT. So next week, it's a stacked show.
Yeah.
Really stacked show. So very much looking forward to that. I'm really, really stoked for it, actually. Yeah, I thought it was a fun episode of NXT. My only request now of NXT to take me into the new year, or maybe like as a little, here's your New Year's treat. Here's to ease you back into the office life, because we're going to have to come back into January 3rd. Here's to ease you back in.
Back on January 3rd. I'm back in before then.
Oh yeah, are you doing New Year's Day?
No, I'm not doing New Year's Day.
Yeah,
I'm doing after Christmas though, between then and New Year.
Oh yeah, no, because I'm doing Christmas Eve. But yeah, all I want is like to welcome me back into 2019. I want an hour-long match between Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch and the Mighty. That's what I'm after.
Oh, let's have that.
Just give me the whole episode of NXT is just these four lads slapping the S out of each other. Yes, please.
What
mate.
about a slaps only match?
Yes.
You get disqualified if you do anything but slaps.
Oh no, but then you miss out on all of their flipty-doos. And I do like the flipty-doos from the Mighty. So yeah, I'd love to see. That's what I'm after. So that can be my early Christmas present, guys. But that is all we've got time for on this show. Thank you very much for watching. Head over to beer52.com/WrestleTalk to claim your free case of craft beer. UK viewers only. Very sorry if you're American or anywhere else. And click the videos that have just appeared on this desk to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk awesome things. And this button right here that'll subscribe you to the podcast version with its own intros and outros, all free of charge. Save your data if you stream this on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. I have been Luke Owen. This has been our Fakador Laurie Blake. And that was NXT.